Hello, friends, and welcome back to PixarNerd Studios. I'm ranking my favorite Pixar films from worst to best. Um, I'm just going to say this out loud right now that I enjoy most of the films that Pixar's put out, and I don't hold anything against them because most of them are all good films except for one, and I'm going to put that one out now. Um, Cars 2 is going to go there. It's a bad movie. Last time I saw it was the year it came out, and I have not watched it since. Um, Then we're going to be putting The Good Dinosaur. It's higher than Cars 2, but it's still the story. I just didn't like the story. I first saw the trailer. I'm like, this seems more like a Disney movie. It seems more like a thing that Disney would come up with, not Pixar. So the only thing I like about the movie is the rendering and the animation. The scene where Arlo, the good dinosaur, is trapped in a flood and he's swimming through the flood. That scene is amazing because of the effects that they made for that film. Um, Next film I'm going to be putting is going to be I'm gonna put Cars 3 in the C tier. Um, I liked Cars 3 better than Cars 2. The story seemed more relevant and more a sequel to the first Cars than Cars 2 did, which is why I enjoyed it more. I've seen Cars 2 or Cars 3 more than Cars 2. I've seen it about 3 times um, when it came out on Netflix, and I actually enjoyed it. I felt like it continued the story of Cars, which I actually enjoyed Cars. The story the only thing I don't like about the story is why they decided to make it Cars. They could have just made it a story about race car drivers, and it would have had the exact same plot. Um, Next up on the list is going to be Cars. Um, I've already talked about all I have for Cars 2, 3, and the first Cars, so I'm just going to skip past all of that and go to my next movie, which is going to be Brave. Brave just it I enjoyed it, but it's gone down for me because of how Disney has been using the character of Merida. I dislike how they're showing her as this princess that always wears the dress that she didn't want to wear in the movie. And it just doesn't make any sense because the entire movie is about her not wanting to be a normal princess, wanting to be more of a warrior than be a princess. And Disney's just gone far away from that and just made her a normal Disney princess, which I hate. So that has tainted the movie for me, and so that's why I'm putting it in C tier. Um, Next movie we have is going to be um, Finding Dory, which is going to be in B tier. It's the uh, I feel that Finding Nemo didn't really need a sequel, and that the story of Finding Dory was just a bit odd because I don't think anyone needed to know Dory's backstory. But I mean, the story that they came up with was pretty good, so that's why I'm putting it in B tier. The next film that we have here is going to be. Sorry, a little cough there. The next film we're going to be putting there is going to be Bug's Life. I enjoy it more than Finding Dory because the story it has original characters that are not from past movies, so that's why I'm putting it there. Also, because I just feel relatable to Flick because um, he's a social outcast. So, next film is going to be Inside Out. I have seen Inside Out 5, 6 times. I The only reason why it's not higher is because I dislike the entire Riley running away from home subplot. I got so bored of it second time watching it, but everything else is great. Next movie is going to be Finding Nemo, which is going to be up here. I enjoy Finding Nemo. It has great pacing, great jokes. It has great characters. You love almost all the characters. There's so many quotable lines like "Fish are friends, not food" from Bruce, which is my favorite fictional shark of all time. There's also Crush the sea turtle, who um, he's just a funny character. I have a little figurine of Squirt that sits on my desk, and it's just a great movie. Next up, we have Ratatouille, which I actually enjoy more than Finding Nemo, which I don't know if some of you are going to hate that. Leave it down in the comments below, but I just love Ratatouille. The style of the movie is amazing. The part where Remy is or just eating food and just combining the flavors and how they did that is amazing, and I thoroughly enjoyed watching it. It's a great movie, and if you have not watched it, you need to watch it. It's one of my favorite Pixar movies of all time. Actually, I might move it up here. It's a great movie. It's an S tier movie. Next movie I have on the list is going to be WALLE. It's gonna be up here. It's gonna be an S tier movie. WALLE is a great movie. The first few minutes before you see all the humans from outer space, I thought it was a live action movie. I had not seen the trailers. I just went to see the movie a few weeks after it opened, and I loved it. I felt that the story was emotional, and it was a great movie, and they added so much and made you care for robots that normally in movies are lifeless, that and normally have monotone voices that you don't care about. And that's the genius of WALL-E, I feel. Next movie is going to be Monsters U. I feel that Monsters University is a great prequel to the movie Monsters Inc. because it takes the characters, explores what they were like when they were younger. There's some plot points that I dislike, such as how it contradicts the first movie, Monsters Inc., by having Mike and Sully meet in college when in the first movie they state that they met in first grade. But other than that, the movie is really fun, and the scare games is a great way to keep the movie interesting. Next up, I'm going to be putting Monsters Inc. up in the S tier category because it's an emotional movie. It has great characters. Once again, it has like some amazing quotes, like "Put that thing back where it came from, or so help me," which is just it's a funny line. The cast is perfectly suited for this movie with John Goodman, Billy Crystal, Steve Buscemi. Chef's kiss. It's a great. Everyone there, and then there's also Roz, which Roz is amazing, and Roz is one of my favorite Pixar characters of all time because of this movie. Next up is going to be Up. See what I did there? Next up. Up is another great movie that I thoroughly enjoy. The first few minutes of Up are so emotional and sad, and I just love that movie. Also, Doug. Doug is one of the best. No, Doug is the best Pixar character of all time. Fight me in the comments, okay? Doug is the best. If you disagree with me, there will be a problem. Hi there. I'm Doug. Okay. Now it's time for the hard part. Because we have all these great movies left. I'm going to be putting Onward in the A tier, above Monsters University. I thoroughly enjoyed Onward. The fantasy modern setting was a beautiful idea. The story was very emotional. I cried at the end because I'm like, oh, I wasn't actually expecting this to be the ending. The ending was amazing. If you haven't seen it, it's on Disney Plus. Go check it out. It's a great, great movie. Next up is Coco. I'm going to put Coco above Onward. I love Coco so much. It's basically Pixar's first musical. All the songs in that movie are jammers. I love them to pieces. I listen to them all the time. They are incredibly, incredibly good. It's an incredibly good songs, incredibly good plot, some plot twists. It's a great movie. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Um, Next up, we have Incredibles 2, which is going to go above Coco, which might be a controversial to some people. I really wanted another round with the Incredibles, and then they gave it to us, which is great. I mean, I'm not counting the comics here because the comics are now non-canon because of Incredibles 2, but the comics are great. Check those out if you haven't. But the Incredibles 2 movie is so good because it allows you to have more of the characters that you fell in love with 14 years before, and it's just a great sequel. It builds upon everything. The villain's not as good, but it's a great movie. Next up, we have Toy Story 1, 2, 3, and 4. They're going to be all S tier movies because they just rock. They're the best. They're the best quadrilogy of movies ever. Mainly because I don't think there's just 4 movies together. Yeah. Okay. They are just the stories of the Toy Story movies progress so naturally from the first to the second to the third to the fourth. I was a little skeptical with the fourth until I watched it. And after I watched it, all the skepticism went away, and I just thoroughly enjoyed it. And I cried at almost all of them except for Toy Story 1. I cried at Toy Story 2 with Jesse's song. I cried at Toy Story 3 at the ending. I cried at Toy Story 4 at the ending. And I'm man enough to admit that. I love Toy Story 4, and I love all the Toy Story movies. They're just so good. And the best Pixar movie to me is The Incredibles. It's my favorite animated movie. It's my favorite superhero movie. It's my favorite movie of all time. It is so well written. The story is just amazing. The characters are great, and that's why I was so happy when Pixar released Incredibles 2. I saw Incredibles 2 opening night because of my love for The Incredibles. That's my list. Do you guys agree with the picks? Tell me down in the comments below, and if you enjoyed the video, then why not give it a like, share it with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys later in another video. Everyone have a wonderful day, and enjoy yourselves.